You're scrolling through a sea of specs and glossy ads because you need a laptop that won't quit on you when the deadline hits, that slides into the office bag without making you wince, and that actually feels worth the cash you're about to spend. The fear of splurging on a machine that looks powerful on paper, but turns out to be a daily frustration, is real, especially when you're juggling CAD files, 3D renders, and a handful of virtual meetings at the same time. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The ThinkPad P16 Gen 3 lands in the mobile workstation niche, a segment where the line between a high-end laptop and a portable workstation blurs. It's not a gaming rig, but it's also not a thin and light notebook you'd toss on a coffee table and forget about. What matters here is how the machine behaves once you open the lid. Does the Intel Core Ultra 7 265HX keep up with intensive workloads? Does the 32 GB of RAM stop you from staring at a spinning wheel while your design software loads? And how does the AI-powered engine actually translate into day-to-day productivity? If you spend most of your day in AutoCAD, Revit, or video editing suites, the P16's Core Ultra 7 is a step up from the typical i7 you'd find in a consumer laptop. It's built on Intel's latest architecture and carries vPro technology, which means IT departments can push updates and security patches remotely, a subtle but huge convenience for businesses that need to keep their fleet secure without pulling each device out of the office. In my tests, opening a 150-page architectural PDF and then switching to a 4K video timeline felt seamless. The CPU didn't throttle under the combined load, and the AI-assisted performance optimizations seemed to shave a few seconds off rendering previews. Nothing magical, but enough to notice when you're on a tight schedule. The 16-inch WUXGA display at 1920x1200 isn't a 4K panel, but the extra vertical real estate over a standard 1080p screen makes a practical difference. When you stack multiple toolbars in Photoshop or keep a chat window open while drafting a presentation, that extra 200 pixels of height means you scroll less and see more of your work area. The panel is matte, so you don't get the glossy glare that ruins color accuracy in bright rooms. For a mobile workstation, that balance between clarity and portability is a genuine win. Now, let's talk storage and memory. A 512GB SSD paired with 32GB of DDR5 RAM sounds generous, and it is provided your workflow fits within that envelope. If you routinely work with multi-gigabyte simulation files, you'll find yourself needing external drives or a network storage solution after a few weeks. The good news is the SSD is NVMe, so moving files to an external enclosure is fast, but the internal capacity isn't a forever solution for heavy data hoarders. The RAM, on the other hand, is easily upgradable, which is a relief for anyone who anticipates growth. Battery life is a topic that always sneaks up on workstation buyers. The P16's 94Wh battery gives you roughly 5 to 6 hours of mixed-use email, light coding, occasional video playback. Push it into a full-blown rendering session, and you'll be back to the wall outlet in under 2 hours. That's not a flaw. It's a trade-off you accept when you demand the kind of CPU power the P16 offers. If you need all-day unplugged operation, you might look at a lighter Ultrabook with a lower power processor instead. One of the hidden trade-offs is the keyboard. ThinkPads have a reputation for a solid typing experience, and this model continues that tradition with a full-size English US layout and decent key travel. However, the keyboard sits slightly higher because of the larger chassis needed to accommodate the workstation internals, which can feel a tad cramped on a desk that's already crowded. If you type a lot, the feel is still reliable, but you might notice a minor adjustment period. The chassis is unmistakably a ThinkPad, matte black, a modest footprint for a 16-inch machine, and that iconic red track point. It's built to survive the occasional drop or spill, but it does add a couple of pounds to the bag. At around 5.5 kilograms, it's not something you'll comfortably carry to a coffee shop for a day-long sprint. It's more of a drive to the client site, set up, work, and pack-up kind of device. If you're hunting for a laptop you can toss into a backpack for a commute, you'll probably feel the weight after the first few miles. Who should buy the ThinkPad P16 Gen 3? If you're a professional engineer, architect, video editor, or data scientist who needs a machine that can handle heavy software without resorting to a desktop, this is a solid contender. The combination of a powerful Core Ultra 7, 32GB of RAM, and vPro security makes it a practical choice for corporate IT environments where remote management is a priority. It also appeals to freelancers who want a single device that can double as a portable workstation and a reliable daily driver. Who should skip it? If